I've spent the last few weeks wearing the Casio MDV106, aka the Casio Duro. At its affordable price of $70, I wasn't expecting huge things, but I have to say there are some parts of this watch that have really impressed me, and some parts which definitely have not. Overall though, it's changed the way that I think about affordable dive watches. But I'll get into the details of my changed perspective at the end of the video. For now, let's take a look at the watch. What struck me first about the Duro was just the weight and solid feel. It's quite weighty at 92 grams, which isn't a bad thing, and I think this, along with the stainless steel case, contributes to the sturdiness of the watch and makes it feel more premium than its price. I potentially naively thought the unidirectional bezel would feel maybe a bit cheap, maybe even a bit plasticky, but it's all very solid stuff. We've got a stainless steel case and bezel with an aluminium bezel insert. And if we look onto the lugs here, we can see that we've got brushed steel at the top. Now, it's not quite as pronounced as I'd like to see, but it's still a finish I don't necessarily expect to see on a watch at this price. The lugs are also nicely curved to fit the wrist, again just adding a slightly more high-end feel. These lugs do contribute to what is a fairly large watch on paper. This watch is 48.5 millimeters lug to lug and 44.2 millimeters in diameter. However, it is just 12.1 millimeters thick, and for me, this helps this watch to not actually look too big on the wrist. My wrist size is 7 inches, and I don't feel like this watch is oversized when I'm wearing it. This reasonably thin case houses a Casio 2784 module quartz movement. Some collectors prefer a mechanical movement in a dive watch, which is understandable, but the superior accuracy that a quartz movement provides, in this case it's accurate from plus to minus 20 seconds per month, can give the watch an edge over mechanical competitors and even be more suitable when you need to time things accurately. Right, we'll be moving on to the design and watch face now, but before we do, I'd like to ask if you are enjoying this video so far, please do consider subscribing to the channel and turning on your notifications so that you know when I upload. So the dial is presented in a very legible way whilst using geometric style hour markers with circles and rectangles and this sort of double triangle at 12 o'clock. The use of shapes continues into the hands where you have the bold arrow hour hand and a sword shaped minute hand with another small arrow on the red seconds hand. This all sits above a sunburst dial with the Casio logo printed at the top, and in the case of my Duro, the Marlin logo printed at the bottom, giving this watch its nickname, the Casio Marlin. It's worth pointing out that you'll find variants of the Duro online without the Marlin. I believe the US market still sells the Marlin version, which is where I ordered mine from. In most markets outside of the US, however, you won't see the Marlin anymore. But it's worth pointing out that it's still the same watch with or without the logo. Anyway, the dial sits under a mineral glass crystal, which is not the strongest option for a crystal, but it's fine for this price. Also, as expected at this price point, the crystal does not have any anti-reflective coating, and when I've worn this watch outside or even under my ceiling lights at home, I have occasionally had light reflect off the crystal and into my eyes, which isn't very pleasant. Also, whilst I'm listing things that I'm not a huge fan of with this watch, the strap and the buckle is where you can really start to feel that $70 price tag come in. The strap just feels a little cheap. The strap is resin, but it doesn't feel as robust as you'd like for a dive watch. Also, the buckle says stainless steel China on the back, which is a dead giveaway for a low-priced watch. And as for the lume paint on the hands, it's just not even worth mentioning. It can be really bright just after exposure to bright light, but it fades pretty quickly, and in my experience was pretty useless. That all being said, I stand by the fact that this Casio has changed the way that I think about cheaper watches, or more specifically, cheaper dive style watches. Before buying this, I don't know if I'd consider buying a dive watch under $200, let alone sort of $70, if I'm being honest. But with the Duro, although it has its shortcomings with the reflective crystal, the pretty cheap feeling strap, and the pretty useless lume paint, it's still very good. It's sturdy, it looks great, it's comfortable, it has finishes seen in much higher priced timepieces, it can take a knock, it's very accurate, and it does feature common elements found in dive watches, such as the unidirectional rotating bezel, the screw-down crown with crown guards, and something important that I haven't actually mentioned yet, it's water resistant up to 200 meters, which is very impressive. So I would say if you're wanting a dive style watch, but you're not wanting to break the bank, this is actually a fantastic choice. And I could even see this being a good entry point to those who are just starting out with watch collecting. But I would love to know what you think. Is this watch worth the hype that it gets? Or is there another watch that you would go for instead? I would love to know your thoughts. I do have an affiliate link to buy this watch in this video's description if you're interested in picking one up for yourself. If you do use that link, I will get a small commission, which really helps the channel, but at no extra cost to you. Please give the video a like if you've enjoyed, and do subscribe if you're new so that you know when I next upload. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.